Hello, everyone. Good evening. I'm here with Braxton Graves. Braxton was recently a victim with his dog was shot while he was hunting.
hmm
So, Braxton, tell us about it.
Well, me and my buddy, we was hunting what they call a meat hunt here in Tennessee. But we was hunting a hunt. We went and got our dogs, and we went to the place that my dog he had got shot. We went to the bottom of the property where the TVA gate was. Turned loose. We didn't have no luck, so we loaded our dogs up. And we was going out of Ballbright, we said, "Hey, we'll go up here to the top, and we might turn loose right here and just see what happened." Well, we turned loose at the TVA gate at the top of the property. Turned her loose, and my dog went in probably 120, 125 yards and struck a track and was making a big circle. And when he come around with the track, he was fixing to cross the public highway, the gravel road. And when he crossed the gravel road, I heard two shots. I heard the first shot, and then I heard the second shot. And when the second shot went off, my Garmin said, "Warning, lost communication with Jeff." I said, "Well, let me ride up here and see what's going on." I started my truck, drove up the
Now,
road.
Jeff is your dog, right? That was some confusion
Correct.
earlier. The
Correct. Yeah,
dog's
Jeff
name
is
is
my dog.
Jeff.
Yes.
All right.
But I had drove up the road probably 20 yards, and I had seen my dog laying in the middle of the gravel road that is public. I went to the top and had called the game warden, the cops, and so after we called them, we drove back down to my dog where my dog was laying at, and I had stepped out of the truck. And once I stepped out of the truck, there was a guy on the side by side pulled behind us and was shining a light in my face. Well, he said, "Hey, you know you're on private property, right?" And I said, "No." I said, "No, I'm not on private property." I said, "This is a public roadway at 110%. I said, "The deputy's on the way, and they can tell you the same." Well, as I was sitting there talking to the guy, my buddy, he had jumped out of the truck and turned his light on and looked behind me. And when he looked behind me, he said, "Hey, what you back, and jumped back in the truck. So I turned around, and when I turned around, there was a guy not even 5 foot from me sitting on his knees and had an AR pointing straight toward me and my other buddy that was there. And said,
Now, if I understand that, they basically had you in an ambush position,
right,
and the guy
correct,
was on his knees pointing an AR at you. And didn't you tell
correct,
me that they wanted to search you?
correct. They did. The guy on the side by side, he was shining a light at us, and the one that had shot my dog that was pointing the gun at us was saying, "Hey, we need to search them. We need to search them, make sure they ain't got no guns on them." And the guy on the side by side, said, "No, it's okay. We don't need to search them." So he had left where my dog was shot and put his gun back in the house and come back down there. And then the cops showed up. And once the cops showed up, they weren't going to do nothing about it. They was 100%.
Local police.
Yeah, local police, Union County Sheriff Department.
And what town is the local police?
It's in Maynardville, Tennessee.
So Maynardville, Tennessee police showed up and they weren't going to do anything at all with the guy.
No, they weren't going to charge him with nothing. They was just basically going to give him a slap on the wrist and just send it. And when they got there, they didn't even go to him and get his gun. They got my .22 rifle that was in my truck locked up. They got it first before they even went and talked to the guy.
So I got a question for you. Who called the game warden? Did the local police call the game warden out, or did you call the game warden out?
We did. We called the game warden.
Okay, something's not right there with the local police.
And
I think that needs a little closer look.
100%. But yeah, they didn't have nothing to do with it. They was just going to give him a slap on the wrist and say, "Hey, don't do it again." And I said I wasn't having it. So me and my dad, he was there. Well, he actually showed up after I called him, and we called the game warden. He said, "I'll be there in 15 minutes." Well, he showed up. He didn't say nary word to us. He said, "Where's the dog at?" And I said, "He's laying down there in the road right beside my truck." He went down there, looked at the dog, didn't do anything but walked right back to his truck, got his citation book out, went to the guy that shot my dog and wrote him with intentionally of shooting a hunting dog, and then took his gun.
Okay. Did you get your gun back?
I did. I got my gun right after I had to meet him across the hill away from the premises where the guy had lived or whatever. But I had to drive over the hill and wait for the cops to come and bring my gun back.
Okay. So I'm confused about them wanting to search you.
Yeah.
Why would they think that they had the authority to detain you at gunpoint and search you? I don't understand where they're coming from with that.
I don't either. I have no clue. They wasn't no off-duty cops, no undercover cops. They was just random people.
How do you know they weren't?
But the cops showed up and they even asked them about it, but they still didn't do anything about it. Which that's what I'm confused about. And but other than that, that's about all we know for sure right now.
So this land that you were hunting, TVA, is Tennessee Valley Authority, correct?
Correct. It's open to the
And
public.
that's public
Anybody can go
land.
do what?
That's what we have here in North Carolina. We call it game lands. And
Yeah,
then we
that's
have
the same
national
thing with us
forests. So
down here.
I know what the TVA is. So I got a question about that. The guy that shot your dog, these two guys that are out there on the four-wheeler, did they have a house there or something? Or
Yes, the guy that had shot my dog was nowhere near his house. But he had walked maybe 120 to 150 yards below his house coming down there toward us. And he had shot him 150 yards from his house at his property line. He was nowhere near his house when he shot my dog. He had literally walked through the yard coming down there to us where we was hunting at and shot my dog on his, not even on his property. My dog was in a public road, but he had walked 150 yards just to kill my dog. He was nowhere near his house.
But then he claimed that the public road was his property.
Yes, he claimed that the road was private property because they have private property signs or private road signs from the beginning to the end. But the game warden, the cops, and the county, the people that is over the roads, they said they cannot make that private unless they put a gate up at the end and all their mailboxes at the bottom. And the game warden said he had been there for 22 years for the game warden service. He had been there for 22 years, and that has never been a private road. It's always been a public.
So I don't understand how they're going to charge him with a misdemeanor. It sounds like to me he went out of his way to shoot the dog. The dog wasn't in his house. The dog wasn't in his living room.
Correct.
Did he go in the house, get the gun, and come back out and shoot the dog, or was he in the backyard target practicing or something? I mean, there's some questions there.
He was, when we went by, the lights were off in his house, and he was nowhere to be seen in the house. And then after the shots was fired, I come back up, all the lights was on in his house, and he was down, like I said, 120 to 150 yards from his house when I come back through.
We need to find out who he is, where he works. I think you're going to find a tie there, either to military, government, or law enforcement. It's just my feeling with hey, we need to search this guy. And people don't think like that, you know?
Absolutely.
Your average citizen just doesn't think that way. I do. I think that way, but
right.
Your average person doesn't. And I've talked to a whole bunch of people, you know?
Right.
So he went and got a gun, or we're assuming that he went and got a gun. We're assuming he wasn't outside target practice. And he made a choice to go get a gun, come back outside, travel 150 yards from his house. Was he standing on his property when he shot the dog? Was he at the property line?
He was on his property where he had shot my dog, but my dog never came across his property nor on his property at any time. I've got it all on my Garmin, on my tracking system that I use to track my dog to where he goes or whatever. But my dog had never once crossed his property line or was on his property.
Right. Well, you know, even if the dog did walk across his property, that's still not grounds to shoot the dog.
Right, correct.
But, you know, if you're constantly hunting and your dog's constantly going out of bounds and getting on somebody else's property, that's a bad habit. That's not an accident. That's a habit. You know, if the dog does it once and you're like, hey, I'm sorry, and you retrieve the dog and you try not, you know, you don't do it again, that's an accident. If you do it every Saturday when you turn out, that's a habit, you know?
Correct. Absolutely.
But what you're telling me is the dog wasn't even on his property, but he was claiming the public road as his property.
Correct. Absolutely.
Some people believe if they paint something yellow, or not a yellow, but purple, or they put a private property sign on it, it belongs to them whether it does or not.
Correct.
So, so he's standing on his property. The dog is how far from his property?
From his property, I'd say another 30 yards maybe. But he, like I said, my dog was shot in a public road, probably 30 yards from his property line.
Okay. And you're going to follow up with the game warden and get a copy of the charging statement and all that stuff?
Yep, I'm going tomorrow to do all that.
And you're looking to get an attorney to help you, right?
Absolutely. I'm doing that tomorrow as well.
I can tell you right now that without an attorney, you're not going to get justice.
Right, correct.
And something's up with the local police. Cruelty to animals is a felony in every state.
Correct.
And I don't see how what happened is not a felony level crime.
Correct.
I'm not an attorney, but you need an attorney, and we're working on getting you some money to hire one.
Absolutely, and that's what I'm doing tomorrow. Absolutely.
So to recap, you were hunting public property.
Correct.
Your dog was on public property.
Correct.
The Garmin tracks don't show your dog crossing this guy's property line anywhere.
Absolutely not.
And those are GPS tracks. They're fairly accurate.
Yep, they're right on the money.
This guy came to the edge of his property and shot your dog in the middle of a public road while you're trying to retrieve the dog.
Absolutely.
And then he held you at gunpoint.
Sure did. As soon as I stepped out of the truck and the other guy had his light in my eyes, and my buddy jumped out and turned his light on and looked behind me, and he said, "Hey, watch your back, watch your back." And I turned around. Once I turned around, the guy was on his knees with a gun pointing straight toward us.
Your lawyer will tell you this, but you got to figure out who these two guys are. You got to do a little research on them.
Right.
It sounds like bad news. So, I looked at your video today of your dog, where you're riding down the road with your dog.
Yeah.
You had your dog in the front seat of the truck with his seatbelt on.
Sure do.
You loved that dog, didn't you?
Every bit of it. I mean, I treated him like my own.
Yeah, I saw that. I picked up on the seatbelt, and I was like, he's got this dog seatbelted in.
Yeah, sure do.
I could tell that dog was well cared for. The dog was healthy. And the dog loved to hunt, right?
Absolutely loved it. I took him every night. Just about every single night.
All right, well, look, get up close to your camera. Your face has been a little blurry. We don't have real good lighting. I'm trying to get a good picture of your face. Still can't see you. We'll post your picture. So you're talking to the channel right now. Tell them what you want to know.
Be honest with you, I don't know. I'm just bumfuzzed. Why would people want to do something like that? Especially if an animal doing what it wants to do, especially love what it's wanting to do. Why come out and ruin somebody's night, just shoot somebody's dog for no reason?
Well, it sounds like he was interested in shooting you too.
Yeah, apparently. Absolutely, 100%. I ain't gonna lie to you. When he had that gun pointed at me and asking to search, I wasn't gonna tell him no. I mean, the way he was holding the gun and shaking with the gun, I thought he was gonna shoot me. That's my honest opinion. My buddy can tell you the same thing. He freaked him out too. When he had the gun pointed at, shaking like it, I felt it. I thought he was gonna pull the trigger. I really did.
That's terrible. Nobody should be subjected to that. Nobody at all. That's absolutely horrible.
Absolutely.
But people feel like they own the world.
I'm telling you, all these people that's coming down here, and this guy here, he's not from Tennessee. Which if they want to come down here, I'll go for it. Do what you want to. But when you come down here, don't act like you can do whatever you want when you move to a different state.
That was going to be my next question. Was this guy from up north, or was he from somewhere else? Or
he come from Virginia, on the line of Washington, is where he come from.
So the D.C. area. He's a D.C. guy.
Yes. Yeah, that's where he come. He was right on the line.
I'm very confident that there's going to be a government connection between
Correct.
the TVA, D.C., wanting to search you, feeling like they have the authority to search you. You're going to have a government connection there, and I think the police are probably going to know the guy too.
Probably.
So, if you don't get an attorney, you're not going to get any justice.
Absolutely.
If you get an attorney and we can raise you enough money to pay your attorney, you're going to get justice. You're going to find out who the guy was that shot your dog.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'm going surprised.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go tomorrow. Me and my dad. Well, my dad, he's going with me. We're gonna go find we got an attorney lined up. We're gonna go tomorrow and see what she says. But hopefully, at the end of this, I can get justice and everything that I want. I'm gonna drag it, and I'm gonna hit him hard. That's for sure. I'm going for everything I can get.
Well, it's time to make people stand up and pay attention.
Absolutely.
These people get in these chat rooms on the internet every day, and they talk blazingly about how they just shoot people's dogs, and the law doesn't care, and the sheriff people say the sheriff where I'm from doesn't care. He'll shoot a dog too. And it's time to make them stand up and pay attention. It's unacceptable.
Right.
And it's definitely unacceptable when the dog's not out of bounds. He's not on your property. He's close to your
I agree
property, but he's not
100%.
on it. And you don't own a public road. Nobody. We all own
Absolutely.
a public road. It's public property.
Absolutely.
You can't trespass on public property.
Cannot. Absolutely. I agree 100%.
Well, I'm glad the game warden at least wrote him a ticket. So we'll see where it goes from there. And good luck to you. You got it doesn't take a second to pull the trigger and shoot somebody's dog, but it takes years in court. Years.
Absolutely.
To make them pay. You got an uphill battle. You said you got a pup. You got a young dog?
I do. I got a young pup out my my dad's dog.
Well, that young pup you got will be a finished coon dog before you settle this account, I can assure you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because
but I ain't giving up. I'm gonna.
The wheels of justice turn so slow, and it's not fair. I think I lost you, Braxton. All right, well, we lost Braxton. That's it for the night. We're going to see where this goes. Good night.